Welcome to the Business English Podcast, where we dive into the nuances of professional English to give you the edge in your career. I'm your host for today, Rob, and in this episode, we're tackling a topic that's crucial for anyone navigating the professional world: how to use advanced English to give opinions in meetings. Have you ever been in a meeting brimming with ideas, yet struggling to find the right words to express them? Or perhaps you felt the need to disagree but weren't sure how to do it without coming across as confrontational. Today, we're not just learning phrases, we're mastering the art of communication in a business environment. In this episode, we'll explore various scenarios you might encounter in a professional setting. We'll learn how to give an alternative view without dismissing others, support a colleague's idea with flair, offer an independent idea that commands attention, and even handle disagreements with grace and professionalism. Imagine the impact you could make in your next meeting by using phrases like, "Whilst I understand the merits of this approach, might I suggest an alternative perspective?" Or maybe, "That's an insightful point, and it aligns with my own thoughts on." I'll also introduce you to some unique advanced phrases that can set you apart in any meeting. Phrases that not only convey your message, but also showcase your proficiency in business English. Curious about what these phrases are? Stay tuned as we will uncover these throughout our episode. Remember, it's not just about what you say, it's how you say it. So, are you ready to transform your communication skills and make your mark in the professional world? Let's dive in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Business English Podcast, helping professionals communicate more effectively, more confidently, and with impact. With your host, Rob, from Energetic English. Let's get down to business. Let's jump right into our first segment, giving an alternative view. It's a scenario you've likely faced. You're in a meeting and someone proposes an idea. It's good, but you believe there's a better approach. How do you put your point across without stepping on any toes? The key is in the delivery. Consider this phrase: "While I appreciate the current approach, I'd like to propose a different angle." Notice how it acknowledges the existing idea before introducing your own. It's respectful yet assertive. Let's try saying it together. "While I appreciate the current approach, I'd like to propose a different angle." Now, picture this. Your team is discussing marketing strategies, and you believe a digital approach would be more effective than traditional methods. Using our phrase, you might say, "While I appreciate the current approach of focusing on print media, I'd like to propose a different angle that leverages digital platforms for wider reach." But let's not stop there. What if you need to express a counterpoint without sounding negative? Try this. "I see the value in that perspective. However, have we considered..." This phrase is a gem for introducing your viewpoint as an addition rather than a contradiction. Repeat after me. "I see the value in that perspective. However, have we considered..." Imagine you're discussing budget allocations and there's a heavy emphasis on one department. You believe diversifying the budget could yield better results. Here's how you could use this phrase. "I see the value in focusing our budget on R&D. However, have we considered allocating a portion to customer experience enhancements?" Now, here's a question for you. Have you ever felt your idea was the road less travelled? A pretty unique one, but worth exploring. Hold that thought, because later in this episode we're going to explore exactly how to present such ideas compellingly. Stay tuned as we delve into our next section on how to eloquently support a colleague's idea. You won't want to miss these phrases that we've got lined up. Moving on to our next section, we're focusing on how to support a colleague's idea in a meeting. This is where you can really shine as a team player and a thoughtful communicator. Let's start with a powerful phrase. I strongly endorse this concept, especially considering. This phrase is like giving a pat on the back in words. It shows you're not just agreeing, but you're doing so with conviction. Let's practice it. I strongly endorse this concept, especially considering. Imagine your colleague suggests a new client engagement strategy. Here's how you could use the phrase. I strongly endorse this concept, especially considering our recent focus on client satisfaction metrics. You're not only agreeing, but you're also reinforcing the idea with a relevant rationale. But what if the idea is good, yet you want to add your own twist to it? Here's another phrase for you. That's a compelling suggestion. It aligns well with my thoughts on. This is a smooth way to build on an idea without hijacking it. Try repeating it. That's a compelling suggestion. It aligns well with my thoughts on. Let's say a team member proposes a new sales approach. You could respond, that's a compelling suggestion. It aligns well with my thoughts on integrating more digital tools in our sales process. See how it allows you to add value without diminishing the original idea? But here's something to ponder. How do you support an idea when you're not entirely convinced about it? Stick around, as later in the podcast we'll tackle this tricky scenario with some clever little phrases. Next up, we'll dive into expressing your independent ideas in a meeting. This is where you get to shine as an innovator and a visionary. Trust me, the phrases we'll cover are game changers, and you won't want to miss them. And now we're diving into one of the most exhilarating parts of any meeting, offering independent ideas. This is your chance to stand out, to show that you're not just another face in the boardroom, but a thought leader and an innovator. So, how do you present your ideas in a way that captures attention and respect? Start with this phrase. I'd like to offer a unique perspective that might shed new light on this topic. I'd like to offer a unique perspective that might shed new light on this topic. Picture this. Your team is discussing ways to increase market share. You think focusing on untapped international markets could be the key. Here's how you could present it. I'd like to offer a unique perspective that might shed new light on this topic. Targeting emerging international markets could open new avenues for growth. But what if your idea is a bit off the wall? Use this phrase. This may be a bit unconventional, but hear me out. It sets the stage for something unexpected yet intriguing. Repeat after me. This may be a bit unconventional, but hear me out. Let's say you have a radical idea for rebranding a product. Introduce it like this. This may be a bit unconventional, but hear me out. What if we completely rebrand our product to appeal to a younger demographic? Stick around because up next we'll be tackling how to handle disagreements in meetings. This is crucial because it's not just what you say, but how you say it that can turn a potential conflict into a constructive discussion. You won't want to miss these insights. Alright, let's tackle a scenario that many find challenging yet is inevitable in a professional setting: handling disagreements in meetings. This is where the rubber meets the road in business communication. How do you disagree without burning bridges? It's all about the art of diplomacy in language. I'll be covering this a lot more inside the BEP Premium membership, exploring not only how to avoid sounding rude and basic, but exactly what not to say and why that is. So if you're not already getting the massive value many other professionals are from the BEP Premium membership, consider getting a subscription. The link is in the show notes. So, handling disagreements. First up, a phrase that's golden. I see your point, but let's consider the potential implications of. This phrase is a lifesaver. It acknowledges the other person's perspective before introducing your concern. Let's practice it together. I see your point, but let's consider the potential implications of... Imagine a colleague suggests cutting costs by reducing the marketing budget. You're concerned this could impact brand visibility. Here's how you can express it. I see your point about cost cutting, but let's consider the potential implications of reducing our marketing budget on brand visibility. But what if the disagreement is about a strategic decision? Try this phrase. While I understand the rationale behind the decision, my concern lies in... This allows you to express your disagreement in a reasoned, thoughtful manner. Say it with me. While I understand the rationale behind the decision, my concern lies in... For example, the team decides to delay a project launch, but you're worried about losing market advantage. You could frame it like this. While I understand the rationale behind delaying our project launch, my concern lies in potentially losing our first mover advantage in the market. And remember earlier when I mentioned we'd discuss how to ensure your ideas are taken seriously? Well, using phrases like these in disagreements is part of that strategy. They show that you're not just objecting, you're thinking critically and constructively. Remember that these phrases are more than just words. They're your allies in building a reputation as a thoughtful, articulate professional. So let's take a moment to reflect on the journey we've been on. We've navigated the nuanced landscape of expressing opinions in business meetings, not just with any words, but with phrases that elevate your professional communication. We started by exploring how to give an alternative view, moving into supporting a colleague's idea, then stepping into the spotlight with your own innovative suggestions, and finally gracefully handling disagreements. As we say repeatedly on the show, these are not just phrases, they are your toolkit for impactful communication in the business world. Now, think about your next meeting. Can you envision yourself using these phrases? How might they change the dynamics of your interaction? Remember, the goal is not just to communicate, but to do so with clarity, respect, and a touch of sophistication. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of the Business English Podcast. Practice these phrases, make them part of your business vocabulary, and watch as they transform your professional interactions. I'm Rob, and it's been a pleasure guiding you through these advanced communication techniques on today's show. Keep tuning in for more insights, and until next time, keep it strictly business.
You have been listening to the Business English Podcast. Remember to subscribe, leave a review, and we'll see you next time.